Welcome to The Backward Path, a channel where we share everyday stories that carry within them decisions that run against the current, choices that can change the way we see life and help us live a little happier. Today, I want to tell you about John, an ordinary American man, not a millionaire, not famous, but he holds a kind of secret that very few people have. Reverse thinking. Through 4 small moments from his everyday life, you'll see how John uses it to improve his relationships, his work, and his own happiness. Story 6. Reverse thinking turns strangers into friends. You know, John had lived in his apartment building for almost 5 years now. The place was fine, people were friendly enough, but somehow it never really felt like a community. Neighbors would pass each other in the hall, eyes glued to their phones, maybe a quick nod, but rarely did anyone stop to actually chat. Most people, when they want to get to know their neighbors, they'd throw a party, a barbecue, some snacks, a case of soda, and hope people would show up. But John, he thought differently. One rainy Tuesday evening, he saw Ms. Lopez from apartment 3B struggling with a pile of bags. Instead of just holding the elevator door like most people, he carried the bags all the way into her kitchen for her. And that's when everything started to change. The following week, he baked an apple pie and took it down to Mr. Harris on the first floor. No announcement, no group chat, just those small one-on-one moments. Over time, these small gestures began to spread. One day, someone left a basket of fresh muffins at John's door with a note, "Thanks for the apple pie." Another day, he found a plant placed in the hallway with a card, "From 3B for making our week brighter." Before long, neighbors who rarely spoke to each other began swapping recipes, offering to pet sit, and on warm evenings they sat outside just to chat. You see, instead of trying to gather everyone all at once, John chose the opposite approach, to build trust one person at a time. And somehow this gentle approach turned a building full of strangers into a place that finally felt like home. Story 7. When John went against the crowd at work. It was a cool autumn morning in the suburbs. Soft golden sunlight streamed through the windows of the small office where John worked. The office took up just 1 floor, simple and uncluttered. A few green plants by the window. Desks arranged in 2 neat rows. In the corner, a coffee machine set out a warm, comforting aroma. John sat near the window, where he could see maple leaves outside turning a brilliant red. Around him, about 20 colleagues were bent over their screens. The clacking of keyboards mixed with the soft chime of incoming emails. The rhythm here was predictable. Receive an email, process the task, send the progress report. But lately, the air felt heavier. Emergency meetings, floods of messages, pressure from above pressing down like weight on every breath. Deadlines slipped, and the usual response was always the same. Work late, add more meetings, stay up past midnight to catch up. The night before, while Sarah at the next desk was still typing replies to clients at 8 p.m., John had leaned back in his chair and thought quietly, what if this way of working is the real problem? The next morning, instead of taking on more tasks like everyone else, John opened his task list and went through it carefully. He crossed out the "for show" work, reports no one read, spreadsheets that existed just to exist. Instead of sending long, winding emails, he walked over to a colleague's desk, like Mark's in the corner, and in 5 minutes, the issue was solved. No endless email threads, no wasted waiting. At first, eyes followed him with doubt. Whispers rose. Is John slacking off? Careful, the boss might notice. Even Sarah leaned over and asked softly, "John, aren't you afraid they'll judge you?" He smiled. "What if we do less, but the right things?" And then, something unexpected happened. John's team finished their project a week early. Errors dropped. No one had to work overtime. In the late afternoon, instead of the cold glow of fluorescent lights at 9 or 10 p.m., the office was dark early, replaced by the gentle laughter of people heading home. When the boss called John in to ask about his secret, John simply sipped his coffee and said, "Everyone's trying to do more. I'm trying to do less, but the things that truly matter." Quietly, John had changed the team's rhythm, from a tense, breathless race to a steady, focused pace. Now they could leave on time, step outside, feel the cool breeze, and still know the work was done well. Story 8. The night the TV went off, Saturday night. The living room glows with a soft, warm light. On the TV screen, Warriors versus Lakers. John is in a black t-shirt, gray shorts, sinking into the sofa, a can of beer on the table. His eyes follow every shot, every bounce of the ball. From the kitchen, the rush of running water, the clink and clash of dishes, a bit sharper than usual. Lisa, his wife, stands at the sink. Her back is just a little stiff. Her shoulders rise and fall with each scrub. Every now and then, a sigh, but she never turns to look. John's phone buzzes. It's the guys in the group chat, talking about the game. Tom, "Man, this one's intense. Lisa's mad. Just let it go. Women, you know." Mark, "Yeah, give her space. Buy some ice cream later. It'll be fine." The common advice, pretend you don't hear it. Wait for the storm to pass. Or buy a peace offering after. John glances toward the kitchen. The metallic clatter keeps coming, and he thinks, if I stay silent, this will just pile up. He sets the remote down, stands, walks into the kitchen. John, gently, "I feel like you're not happy right now. Did something upset you?" Lisa, still scrubbing, "It's nothing." John, "I really want to hear it. If you want to share, I'm here." Lisa stops. Water drips slowly from the plate in her hands. She turns around, her eyes a little red. "I feel like lately you care more about your phone, the TV, work, than me. We live in the same house, but it's like two different worlds." John stands still for a moment, then steps forward, takes her hand, still warm from the water. "I'm sorry, let's start fixing this tonight." The very next evening, John cancels his golf game, stays home, cooks spaghetti with Lisa. The phone stays in another room. The TV stays off. In their small kitchen, the smell of tomato sauce and basil fills the air. They laugh over who can chop onions faster. They eat and trade small stories from the week. Lisa's co-worker, who borrowed a pen and never returned it. John catching the neighbor's cat stealing his smoked bacon. After the dishes are done, Lisa leans her head on his shoulder softly. "I missed this feeling. Thank you." Lesson: when most people choose silence or delay, sometimes speaking up right in the moment, is the very thread that holds a relationship together. Story 9. Create time. Don't wait for it. John had a close-knit group of friends from university: Mike, Jill, Peter, and Angela. Back in the day, every week they would meet at a small bar near campus, chatting about everything under the sun. But now, everyone was busy. Mike had 2 young kids, Jill was a project manager, often working overtime. Peter traveled constantly for work, and Angela had just opened a coffee shop. This was the 7th month they hadn't seen each other. The group chat was still active every morning, but the messages were always along the lines of, "When you're free, let's meet up. Let's see next month. Too busy." The crowd's reaction? Always waiting for the free time, but that moment almost never came. One rainy afternoon, John sat at a cafe near his office, sipping on a cappuccino. He thought, if I don't create an opportunity, I'll slowly lose these people. He sent a message to the group: "This Saturday, barbecue at my place. Whoever can make it, come. If you can't, I'll just send pictures of the food to make you jealous." The responses came: Mike, I have plans to take the kids swimming, but if I can bring them, I'm in. Jill, I'm working overtime, but I'll try to leave early. Peter, I can only stay for an hour, then I have to head to the airport. Angela, I'll close the shop early and come over. Saturday came. The sun peeked through the clouds. John wore his brown leather jacket, set up the grill early, and prepared marinated beef, sausages, salad, and the baked potatoes wrapped in foil that Angela loved. He strung up fairy lights in the backyard, played some light jazz, and placed a few board games on the wooden table. At 3 p.m., Mike arrived with his 2 noisy kids running all over the garden. Jill showed up at 3:30, bringing a bottle of red wine. Peter appeared at 4, pulling a suitcase behind him because he was headed straight to the airport. Angela came in, holding a bouquet of sunflowers, smiling brightly. They ate, reminisced about old times, like the time they skipped class to go to a concert, or the day Peter got drunk and fell asleep on the beach. The kids played and laughed joyfully. Peter could only stay for an hour, but before he left, he gave John a big hug. If you hadn't forced us to meet up, we probably wouldn't have done this until next year. As evening fell, the warm golden lights from the fairy lights cast over their faces, all flushed from beer and laughter. Jill sat back, looking around, and said, "We should do this every month." From that day on, they created a fixed reunion schedule. No matter how busy anyone was, they would still make time for one gathering every month. Lesson: the crowd waits for the perfect moment. Those who think differently create that moment themselves and keep it like a promise. Conclusion: look at John. He's not some top-of-the-world success story. He's not wealthier than everyone else. He still works a 9 to 5, still carries grocery bags from the supermarket, still makes monthly payments on his apartment. But what makes him different is the way he faces problems. When others choose silence to avoid trouble, he speaks up to clear the misunderstanding. When coworkers rush into long, exhausting meetings, he steps back, finds the solution first, then speaks. When most couples wait for the right time to talk, he creates that moment right away. When friends keep saying they'll meet up someday, he sets a date and brings everyone together. The common thread in all of this is reverse thinking. Not following the crowd, but pausing to ask, what if I did the opposite? And it's these small choices that have given John neighbors who treat him like a close friend, co-workers who trust him, a warm, steady marriage, friends who are always there. John doesn't chase happiness and faraway goals. He creates it, little by little, every single day, in the way he lives and treats people. Maybe his secret is simple: dare to do something different to get a different result. And sometimes living a happier life starts with one thought that runs the other way.